So this one's a project working with soft slabs. The last one we rolled the slabs out and let them dry overnight before building out of them. This one we need to stretch and bend the slabs, which means working with them when they're soft. So you need to be quite gentle. I'm going to start off by just making a cylinder. I'm going to use a big gherkin jar as a guide. So I've made a paper template, then use that to cut out the clay. I'm cross hatching and slipping both ends of the slab. And then I'm going to roll that around the jar. So I've got the paper wrapped loosely around the jar, which will help the clay release. You need to cut the clay longer than the template just around the jar, because it has further to go because of the thickness. So you can lift the whole thing off when it's quite soft, as long as you're gentle with it. I'm just adding a bit of extra clay down the inside of the join, because I'm going to be doing a lot of stretching with this and I don't want it to pull apart. So I've just put a strip of clay down the inside and smushed it in, and then I'm just blending in the join. And then I'm just going to start moving the clay around, pushing and stretching in the same way as a similar way as you do on a wheel, but slower. So the clay is really, really soft, so you can do a lot, but you can't. It's difficult to make it smaller, because the more you stretch, the bigger it gets. So I've just taken some triangular darts out of the top, like 4 darts, to remove some of the clay. And then I've just slipped and stuck those back together, and that's giving me the curved. It's allowing it to curve in again at the top. I'm just tipping it upside down because I want to do a bit more on the bottom. And I can reach inside a bit easier here now after I've curved the top. I'm kind of trying to flatten and give it a bit of a shoulder on the top of the form. So you can see I'm working on a piece of paper to stop it sticking to the surface every time I put it down. And then again, while it's still soft, I'm going to add a neck and a base. So I've rolled out 2 slabs that are roughly the right size for that. And you need to score and slip those before you stick them on too. I'm wanting to stretch the neck and form that a little bit, which is why I'm doing it all at this soft stage. And then adding the base at the soft stage has the advantage that you can smooth extra clay into the main body of the vessel and give it extra strength. At the moment I'm just scoring and slipping around the neck and the top, like shoulder of the vessel, and sticking that together. It's really soft, the clay at this stage, so you've got to do enough that you've got the main structure of the form done, but avoid the temptation to overwork the clay while it's soft, because it might just want to collapse otherwise. Just running a knife around the top, keeping my elbow up against my sides to act as a kind of jig, and then I wanted to give the neck a bit of a squared shape. I'm then going to fix the base on, so mark the size and then cut out the base just 1 millimetre or 2 bigger. So you've got an extra bit of clay to hold the base to the body. Score and slip both bits, and then using a little plastic card, a store card, I'm just smushing that extra clay up the side of the vessel. And then you just want to leave it at this stage. It's a little bit messy, but if you overwork it at this stage, it'll collapse. So I've just left it 2 or 3 hours. If you need to leave it longer, like if you're leaving it overnight, just loosely wrap it in plastic so it can dry a little but not too quickly. And at this stage, I was just doing some paddling, so that's hitting it with a wooden spoon to get a bit more defined shape. And then, well, the clay is still quite soft, using a plastic card to smooth off some of the joins a little bit. And then there's an awful lot you can do with your fingers as well, so you can whilst reaching inside to support it, I'm just trying to smooth that join around the top, both on the inside and the outside. And then I've left it to dry again for a few hours, and then I'm taking off all of the excess around the base with a Surform. So same as last time, you can use a grater for this or just a serrated blade, and then smoothing with a card. You can take off a lot just with the card if you don't have a serrated blade or a Surform, but a knife, a cutlery knife would do. Doing the same around the top, just taking off any extra and then smoothing the scratches that you left with a plastic card. I'm making sure I'm wiping all the scrap out of the way between every time before I put it back down, otherwise I'll end up with all the bits stuck to the vessel. And then I'm just doing a final smooth off with a damp sponge, and then that's ready for decorating.